Going on, guys? The Orms Forum coming at you guys today again. I'm going to continue with my series with the player grades. I've been doing did the quarterbacks, then the running backs. Today I'll be doing the wide receivers. I'll be doing Marvin Jones, Danny Amendola, Kenny Galladay, Quintez Cephus, the rookie, Mohamed Sanu Sr., Jamal Agnew. I'm not going to do Geronimo Allison. He was on the roster. He was trying to make the roster, but he decided to opt out for the COVID, and we never got a chance to look at him this year. But I'm going to start off with Jamal Agnew, guys. 5'10", 190, drafted in 2017, the 5th round out of San Diego. Drafted pretty much as a DB. He was a DB, punt returner / kick returner. Electric with the football in his hands. Had a great year his rookie year. I think he made it All-Pro as a kick returner, punt returner. Couple touchdowns. He's had like 4 touchdowns, I believe, in 5 years, or 3 touchdowns in 4 years. 5 special teams touchdowns in 4 years. So he is electric with the football in his hands, but he was a DB for the first 3 years of his career here, and then they moved him to. He was actually bad as a DB, but they moved him to wide receiver, and he ended up beating out Travis Fulgham. It turned out to be not so good at the beginning there, because Fulgham was lighting it up for a while with Philadelphia, but then he fell off a cliff. Didn't do much. But Jamal Agnew, 5'10", 190, like I said, 25 years old. He only had 13 catches for 89 yards, 0 touchdowns, 20 targets. He did have 4 catches for first down, though, at 31% of his catches. And he had 6 rushes for 33 yards and no touchdowns. So never got in the end zone. Only got in the end zone once this year on a punt return, I believe it was. But he was an experiment at wide receiver. Didn't expect much from him. I thought he was going to be a number 4, number 5, but turned out to be like. Well, they ended up releasing Marvin Hall, so. I'm not going to judge him either. I'm not going to grade him either. But they ended up releasing Marvin Hall, so he ended up becoming like pretty much, I guess, the number 4, if you say number 4, number 5. I personally think he should have gotten the ball more in this offense, but that's another thing that Bevel didn't do, I guess. I think he was misused. He is electric, like I said, with the ball in his hands. I think he didn't get enough opportunities here. Like I said, he's a kick returner, punt returner, All-Pro a couple years ago. Got in the end zone again this year. Got through punt return. He's a free agent as well. I just think he should have been used more. It's hard to give him a grade. He was really good on special teams, like I said, though, guys. Made some tackles as well. It's hard to give him a really good grade, but I'm going to give him a C- here. I'm going to give him a C- just because on his special team skills. As a wide receiver, he probably wouldn't get a passing grade from me, but I'm just going to throw in C-, C, or like in between there. I'll give him a C, I guess. I'll give him a C. I'll change that right on the spot. I like to change things on the fly, so I have no problems changing that. He did move positions. That is really, really hard to do in the NFL. Especially the NFL at any kind of professional level. That's extremely hard to do. 6.8 yards per catch as well too. I'm going to give him a C just because his special team skills alone were very impressive. Don't know what they're going to do with him. He's a free agent. He's probably going to ask for a little bit more money. He's not going to get crazy amount of money because he is still a special teams guy that does play wide receiver. But he's, in reality, right now, he's a number 4, number 5 on your team. Maybe if he's used properly, he could become a number 3, but not too sure on that as well. But the experiment kind of didn't go well, but it didn't completely fail, I guess. It's just the whole season was a failure, but you got to give it to the kid for just giving it a try. So, you know what I mean? And he must have looked pretty good in camp in order to beat out a couple guys there, but we'll see what happens with him next year or this year coming up in 2021. But I'm going to give him a C grade, guys. I'm going to give him a C grade just because of his special teams alone. Can't really give him a crazy flying pass on that because, he wasn't great catching the football. Now on to Danny Amendola, guys, 5'11", 185, undrafted free agent out of Texas Tech. Played for 6 teams in his major league in his NFL career. 2008, been in the league since 2008. 35 years old. He had 46 catches for 602 yards. Didn't get in the end zone. Didn't get in the end zone much as a Lion. Another guy that's a free agent too. He's your prototypical slot wide receiver, number 3 though. He missed a couple games. He does his job. He's a vocal guy. He's a veteran. He's a leader. He let his emotions get the best of him a couple times this year when he ended up kicking a guy. Don't remember if he got flagged for that though, but he ended up booting a guy. I think it was in the Atlanta game, if I can remember. That game was pretty crazy. He ended up kicking a guy. He ended up taking off his helmet, and then when Hodgson caught that pass for the game-winning touchdown, he's an emotional guy. You know what I mean? He's only scored twice as a Lion. One in 2019. 30 of his 46 catches did go for first downs. Was at 65% of his catches for first down, so that's not bad. He did have a rush for 2 yards, no touchdowns, 13.1 yards per catch. Like I said, another free agent, reliable hands, leader. I'm going to end up giving this guy a C. He does what he does. Missed a couple games though, but he's been pretty reliable, I would say, as a Detroit Lion. C grade's not bad. Again, I can't give him anything really more, anything less. I would say he is your number 3. He's a chain mover. That's what he does. Not going to really get in the end zone. So I do like what he did this year, but we'll probably be moving on from him as well. 35 years old. It's unbelievable. His story is unbelievable. I remember seeing his story back in 2007, 2008 when he was trying to get into the NFL. And that was very impressive. St. Louis Rams, when they were called St. Louis, Dallas Cowboys, I think gave him the Cowboys gave him the first legitimate shot. Then he never really made the team. Don't quote me on that, but then on to 6 other teams: Miami, New England, just Detroit. Just a really good story. Made a lot of money, undrafted. So I'm gonna give him a C. He'll be missed. He's a chain mover, but he's nothing electric. He's not gonna wow you or anything like that. But he gets a C grade from me. Then on to the next guy. I'm going to go Kenny Galladay, 6'4", 215 pounds. Drafted 2017, round 3 out of Northern Illinois. Only 27 years old. Had 20 catches, 338 yards, 2 touchdowns on 32 targets. I think he's a legitimate number 1 wide receiver in the league. Just best ability, though, is availability. Well, when it comes to talent and it comes down to the nitty gritty, you know what I mean? He just never. He's missed a lot of games over his 3-4 year career, 15 or 16, maybe, like something like that. He's got all kinds of talent in the world. Uses his body extremely well. He muscles up on guys. He doesn't have that speed. He doesn't separate from guys. He's probably one of the worst, if not the worst, wide receivers on creating separation. I think last year he was the first guy. He was the number 1 guy for not being able to create separation, but he can. But he catches everything close to him. Defender draped all over him. Contested catches everything. You know what I mean? Couple drops here and there, but nothing bad. He's very reliable when healthy. Just not healthy. Is he a Band-Aid? Is he injury prone? What is he, right? He's missed 25 games in 4 years. I got that written down here, guys. 25 games in 4 years. That's a lot of football, man. That's a lot of football. That's a season and a half right there. You know what I mean? That's a season and a half. That's horrible. That's horrible, man. He's a guy that wants a lot of money, apparently. He could be tagged. He's another free agent. Bob Quinn really jacked up these wide receivers, guys. These wide receiver contracts really messed them up big time. We don't know what's going to happen with this guy. We don't know if it was a Bob Quinn thing or if it was a Matt Patricia thing. We know he was happy that those guys got fired. A lot of guys were, but what's going to happen with him. I don't think they can let him walk out the door. I think they got to at least tag him and trade him. Try to, but you can't let him walk. I don't think you can let him walk. You got to tag him, at least tag him for 16 million, 16 plus. In just because this wide receiver situation is so bad. If our wide receiver situation wasn't so bad, I'd say, maybe he's got to go, because there's all kinds of speculation that he's not really hurt. He had a hip injury. Me personally, I don't have a clue. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say he was hurt. I just don't know. You know what I mean? But the fight was over money, apparently. Galladay had that huge game against Atlanta, that giant game where he was going up to catch balls, skying up to catch balls, looking like Calvin Johnson, to tell you the truth. Getting the footballs, coming down hard on his body 2-3 times. And I'm pretty sure that was his last game. Because he got really, really hurt, and then he puts on Instagram, y'all gonna pay me, you know what I mean? This is gonna cost y'all. So right then and there, you knew there was friction going on with him and the organization via Bob Quinn, Patricia, whoever, Sheila Ford, Rod Wood, who knows? But they weren't anywhere close to a deal anywhere during the off season, during the season, nothing like that. He's going to be hard to replace. 16 out of his 20 catches went for first downs, though. That is an 80% catch rate, which is really, really good. But like I said, another possible free agent. Is he going to get tagged? Is he going to get traded? What's going to happen to him? He's a really good football player, really good wide receiver. I think he's a number one in the league. I really do, even though he lacks speed, but he's so strong and so big, and he can get up like no other. His wingspan is amazing, and his vertical is out of this world. But like I said, best ability is availability in this league, and I have to give him a D+. I got to give him a failing grade. He only played 5 games this year, guys. Missed 11. Okay, missed 11. So if you average out his catches, he had probably about 65 catches, maybe 65 catches, probably over 1,000 yards, and maybe 6 to 8 touchdowns. 65, 70 catches, over 1,000. That's a 1B. He's a number one. He is a number one, and he's looking for big money, and he's probably going to get it. But he's getting a D+ grade for me, and it's not because I don't dislike the man. It's just that he wasn't available, man. You can't give a guy a passing grade when he's not available, right? So he gets a D+ for me, guys. Now on to Quintez Cephus. This was 6'1", 208, 210 pounds. 2020 draft pick in the 5th round out of Wisconsin. Played in the Big Ten. Now Quintez Cephus 20 catches for 349 yards, 2 touchdowns on 35 targets, 22 years old, young, real young, a precise route runner, physical, big, 6'1", 210. He's got that size. He reminds me of Anquan Bolden. That's who he kind of reminds me of. He kind of reminds me of a cross between Anquan Bolden and Michael Irvin. That's what I compared him to back in the day when he was drafted. He's never really defined a role in Detroit, though, because he didn't dress for every game. He played in 13 games, started in 2, so he literally missed 3 games. He was a healthy scratch for at least a couple of those games for sure. I remember that. He couldn't get on the field for some reason, and it's not his lack of ability. I don't know, man. Maybe it had to do with Patricia, Bevel, who knows. But to me, he's a number 3 or number 4 wide receiver. Future number 2, if possibly, maybe. But if anything, he'll be a number 3. I think he could become a number 2. He could become a guy that just becomes a chain mover. You know what I mean? He's not gonna wow you with his speed too. He's another guy that's not fast, but he's a precise route runner, and that's what you like to see, right? He had 16 out of his 20 catches, though, were for first downs at 80% clip, with 80% catch rate, just like Galladay. He made some athletic catches, acrobatic, only a couple drops, 3 drops. So he was pretty reliable when called upon. And another nice stat about him, he had 17.5 yards per catch. He was first on the team. He led the team in yards per catch. Impressive for a rookie, especially with guys like Galladay and Marvin Jones on the field, and Hawkinson, guys like that, even Danny Amendola. So he did lead the team in that category, which is really impressive. The arrows are pointing up for him. So for all that's said and done about his year, his numbers weren't eye-popping. They weren't, because he was basically used as a number 4, number 5 kind of guy. Almost kind of used. Well, he's used more than Jamal Agnew, obviously, but he's almost kind of played that same kind of role. Agnew was more trickery, but Cephus was more number 4, number 5, kind of, that 4th, 5th look. So you know what I mean. But the arrows are pointing up for him. I'm going to give him a B minus. B minus, almost a C plus, but I'm going to squeak him by with a B minus. He had a pretty impressive year for a rookie, for a 5th round rookie. He went through a lot of adversity coming into this draft. He got in some trouble with the law. All charges cleared there, and dropped in the draft. He probably should have went about 3rd round, but he played on a Wisconsin team that literally ran the ball down your throat with Jonathan Taylor. They're probably rookie of the year from the Indianapolis Colts. Didn't throw much there, but he accumulated some nice stats at Wisconsin. He's a good football player, so he could become a number 2 for the future. I'm going to say number 3 for sure, but number 2 is a strong possibility. But a B minus grade for me. Now on to Mohamed, Sanu, guy, 6'2", 215 pounds, 31 years old, out of Rutgers, drafted in the 3rd round of 2012, out of Rutgers. So he's been in the league for a while. 16 catches, 178 yards, 1 touchdown with the Lions. Also played for the San Francisco 49ers as well. Only played for 3 games, only had a catch. Only had 1 catch for the Niners for 9 yards. Had a rush for 3 yards as a Lion as well. 7 games with Detroit, so he's basically sitting on the couch waiting to get picked up. And they picked him up. He ended up getting 11.1 yards per catch. Stafford went to him a few times, you know what I mean? He had the 23 targets, like I said. Wasn't here long enough. It's a very small sample size to give a grade on, but I'm going to give a grade on anyways. 13 catches, went for first downs at 81%. So he almost led the team there. And I'm probably going to give him a C plus. He's another free agent as well. I'm going to give him a C plus. I know it's a small sample size, but I'm just giving him a C plus just because he almost fit right in with Stafford. It's not like Stafford was going to him constantly, but he was looking for him. He was looking for him, and I think if he would have played a full season, full camp, he probably would have ended up with about 40, 50 catches. And he was literally the number 3 here, if that. You know what I mean? So that's another guy that was kind of playing that number 4 role. Got a lot of number 4s on this team, man. Like Cephus, Sanu, Agnew. Too many number 4s, guys. Too many number 4s. But I'm going to give him a C plus grade because he did come in here and it was like he didn't really skip a beat, man. He didn't nothing eye popping, but he was solid all around. You can't ask for anything more. And so he's going to get a C plus for me, but he's another free agent. Who knows what they're going to do? I wouldn't mind if they brought him back because he's probably going to be super cheap. But who knows if he wants to even come back here. Now, last but not least, guys, I'm going to go with Marvin Jones, Starboard Marvin, 6'2", 199, 200 pounds. Drafted in the 5th round in 2012 out of University of California. Literally got drafted in the same draft as Sanu and on the same team by the Bengals. So they were teammates right off the jump. Then became teammates again, which is pretty cool. Marvin Jones had 76 catches for 978 yards, just missed 1,000 with 9 touchdowns. What Marvin does is he gets in the end zone. He scores touchdowns. 30 years old. This man was thrust into the number 1 wide receiver role when Kenny Galladay went down and had some pretty big games for the Lions. He disappeared a few games. He did. I'm not gonna admit it. I had the man in fantasy football, and I'll tell you right now, man, he was frustrating to own at times in fantasy. You know what I mean? One week I'd sit him. He'd get me 9 catches for 102 yards and a score. Next week I'd play him. He'd get me 3 catches for 35 yards and no touchdowns. Honestly, he did that quite a bit, but he had some big games. He did. He had more than a handful of big games. He's been one of the best number twos in the business for a long time. Been in the league for 8-9 years. A guy that makes a lot of acrobatic catches, a lot of contested catches as well. Goes up and gets it. And he's not even a big guy. He's got that lanky frame, 6'2", but he's only 100. He's barely 200 pounds, if that. You know what I mean? And he's been pretty reliable as a Detroit Lion. 52 catches went for first downs out of 76. So that's at a 68% clip. So he was moving the chains as well. 36 touchdowns in 5 years. That's around 7 touchdowns a season as an average. So he was getting in the end zone here. He came to do what he was supposed to do. You know what I mean? And worked well. It worked out well for him and Stafford. Had a really nice rapport from jump. Stafford was the first guy to ever get him over 1,000 yards, and that's not all on Stafford, but he was the first quarterback to ever get him over 1,000 in 2000. I believe it was 2017 when he first came here. 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, because he 17, 18, 19, 20. 2016 he came here. Sorry, guys. But 2017, I believe he had the 1,000-yard season. It was only his first and only 1,000-yard season, and that's when I think we drafted Kenny Galladay that same year. And Jones was the number one here because CJ just retired. So, yeah, CJ just retired, I believe, 17, 18, 19, 20. Yeah, so he instantly became that number one here. But he's always been a great number two. And I think he had a really good year. He's testing the free agent market as well. He had 12.9 yards per catch as well. And I'm going to give this guy an A-. I'm going to give him an A- just for what he did, just for coming in here and proving a lot of people wrong that he was going to come to Detroit and not do anything. Because I remember when we first got him, a lot of people weren't happy with that pickup. You know what I mean? He was a free agent. He was one of the hottest. He was probably the hottest free agent pickup at wide receiver. And that year we grabbed him, and we paid him a lot of money to come here. And a lot of people were like, man, he's not going to be able to take over for Calvin. You know what I mean? When Calvin retired. He did extremely well, and he's been one of the best number twos in the league for a long time. You know what I mean? He's no Hall of Famer. He's not going to get to the Hall of Fame, but he gets in the end zone. He's going to be a beautiful pickup for anybody that needs a wide receiver. Hopefully, we can re-sign him or Golladay. We have to sign somebody back. That's the thing, right? We can't just let both these guys just walk out the door with holding nothing in our hand. You know what I mean? Just holding a pencil in our hand going, oh man, if I just could have signed that guy. You know what I mean? He's a guy that you have to attempt to sign him. You really got to attempt to, but I don't know if he's even going to come here back. He's going to come back. I know him and Stafford are close. He's just close with Stafford's family. You know, the wives hang out. He hangs out with them during the off season. So you never know that. You can never say never. It'd be really nice if he could come here, though. But I'm going to give him an A-, man, for the season he had. He had a really solid season. Jumped in and became that number one for majority of the year. And he was Stafford's go-to guy. He was Stafford's go-to guy when Stafford was looking for someone to score. Marvin Jones was the guy. So an A- grade for me, guys. And that's it for the wide receivers, guys. Thanks for the video. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button on the bottom right. Like and comment. Hit that notification bell to get all my videos. Thanks a lot. Go Lions. Boom.